A few years ago, I was something called a peer leader at my church. Peer leaders were basically teachers for younger teens to teach them about God and stuff. The church I go to has a tradition of putting on a play called the Passion Play, which is God's life and what he went through. And peer leaders weren't required to do it, but Leader Senpai kind of pushed us to. Being the low self-esteem person I was at the time, I never tried out for a part. But I always went for backstage, and that was the greatest decision I've ever made. Being in backstage was one of the funniest groups to be in. The people were great and funny, we had that team mentality, and our parts were easy. Out of the 3 years of being in it, I spent 2 years in backstage. Then 1 year came where Leader Senpai needed me to fill in for one of the other characters since he wasn't going to make it for 2 of the performance days. I had to agree because no one else was his size, but there was one other big problem. They never told me beforehand, and they told me the day of being recorded by cameramen. I spent the past 4 months memorizing my own parts, and now they want me to do lines? I had to hurry up and get dressed and make it back to the play site. The second I get there, they had already started recording, so with what little time I had left, I tried to memorize my lines as best as I could, and before I knew it, my part was next. I get up on stage, and as I expected, my performance was horrible. After we got through the whole play, everyone gave me a hard time about it. Everyone said I sucked and how I ruined the whole thing, but I was like, how you gonna judge me when y'all only gave me 5 freaking minutes to memorize my lines? What, were you expecting Leonardo DiCaprio to walk through those doors? I couldn't let them get away with all that smack talk. So before the actual performance days, I prayed to God for help. For him to help me make his performance better than my last failure. With that in mind, I practiced my lines over and over and over again until I could say it with 1,000% confidence. When the day came to fill in for the other guy, everyone gave me a hard time. Again! All around me, I hear people say, "Aw man, Nick's here. He's gonna ruin the whole thing, watch. I bet you he's gonna mess up." I even had people who I thought were my friends come up to me and say, "Nick, I swear if you mess this up, I'm gonna kick you in the balls." I pretended to be nervous, and when anybody asks me if I practice my lines, I tell them, nope. But really, I did. I came prepared. This will be the day where everyone who was trash talking me gets blown away by my skill. My time to shine is now! The whole time I was waiting for my part, I tried to contain my excitement. I was going to make everyone eat their words. Then finally, it's my turn to go. I get up on stage, and there I unleash my full potential. Every line delivered full of emotion, not one line missed. After, I looked upon the eyes of those who judged me, their look of shock, and at their mouths, speechlessness. I have achieved what I've so longed for. Revenge! Oh, I mean, God's blessing. Yeah, that's what I meant. After the play, everyone was all like, "Wow, Nick, you did very well," and "Wow, TBH, I thought you were going to mess this up," or "I never doubted you for a second, man," and I couldn't have been any happier. Looking back at that moment, I loved it so much because it really does feel like a scene from a movie, where the loser that everyone picks on becomes freaking awesome and makes everyone realize how freaking wrong they were. And I couldn't have done it without a little help from the big OG in the sky. Thanks, God, for looking out for me. Well, that's it for this video. Hope you peeps enjoyed. As always, it's Tales of Inoya Nick saying, ciao!